Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Monday, June 26, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now, what you see is price continues to hang right around the center of the range that continues to build out here. We've had a range basically continue to build out from 2410s up to about 2450, and the ES has never really been too far away from the middle or the center portion of that range. Every time it gets a little higher, it pulls back. It gets a little lower, it pulls back toward the center. Here's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It basically held within a narrow 3-day range. Super narrow 3-day range. As a matter of fact, if we come down here and change this out, we can drop this down to 3s. Click OK. And now it'll calculate here what the 3-day range was and show it statistically against what the average 3-day range is. So right now it was a 12-point 3-day range. It had been averaging 26.75 points on a 3-day range average over 10 periods. So very significantly narrow. Obviously very difficult to do anything when price is stuck right at the center of that range. At the moment, the price is attempting to push above 2440. Here's that 2443.5, which was the important key level we've been watching. Remember, failure to hold above 43.5 rotates this thing back toward 24s. Price got down into about 26, 28, right in that zone. So right now we're just kind of in that middle area. It's very difficult to do any business in this area. Obviously the trend remains to the upside, so if price were to push down, it's still a buying opportunity. Those types of things. So right now you have to be very cautious. I think 28 to 30 still an important area of support. Up here 40, 43.5, still important areas of resistance. So not a whole lot to do at the moment. Obviously, if there's any failure to hold above 40 here early in the day, that could rotate this thing back down as part of a failed range expansion. But right now, not a whole lot to do on a swing perspective just yet. If we take a look at the intraday time frame, what you'll notice here on the intraday basis is that price has been on a very nice upward move here to begin the day. Overnight trading Sunday evening, 24.30, and it's been straight up so far. And so coming back toward 39 from above, that's an area right here, 28 to 39, where bulls may want to defend for a continuation into 43.5 and perhaps higher. So right now, pullbacks into about 38 to 39 could be an area for bulls to defend on a first rotation back up. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Taking a look at crude oil there, this one looks much better for an actionable idea on a higher time frame basis. If you look at this thing again, we're near the lower edge of this range, and here's the bottom pivot. Price has broken through it and it's come back, and so far in overnight trading, bears have defended the lower edge of the previous range here. You'll also notice we had a double inside day after Friday's close, where Friday's range was inside Thursday's, Thursday's inside of Wednesday's. That's a double inside pattern there. And what I usually mention to our traders is, if price pushes outside that range, the first breakout could be a false move, and we could be looking at a break in the opposite direction. Right now, price pushed above the 2-day highs and is now back below those 2-day highs with what appears to be the early signs of rejection. So on a swing basis, right now, this could offer another opportunity to test new lows. So again, 43.75, 43.76, very important to this chart. I mentioned before that now that price is outside that range, we could be looking for signs of rejection, but it wasn't yet ready to buy. And so right now, this could be another opportunity to sell it, and depending upon what happens at this lower edge, that could lead to the rejection that leads to a bounce back toward 48.75. So right now, the early idea is that if price cannot hold above the 2-day highs, look for this thing to rotate back toward 42.01 and test lows. So that could be what we see to begin the week, today, tomorrow, heading into Wednesday. So we'll see how that plays out. Any movement back above 43.76 starts to push this thing higher. So if we look at this thing on an intraday basis right now, you'll notice how this pushed higher and is now rejected. Anytime price pushes up like it did like that, outside the 2-day highs, you can see here it attempted to hold, rejected, could not hold support, pushed back below it, and now it's become resistance. So at the moment, Should price get any bounces, say back toward 43.45s, 43.40s, that could be an opportunity for bears to defend for a shot at retesting 42.50 and 42s. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. One thing we talked about with the NQ was that given the overall trending behavior of the market and given how price had built up after the recent pullback, we could be looking at a squeeze ahead. And basically the 58 to 58.15 zone, it was where bears were trying to defend, but we knew that given this pullback and all of this energy here and that recent rejection, this would likely lead to a squeeze. And I mentioned that 59.04 and 6,000 are the next two upside targets. And right now price, for the first time since it took it offered, is back above 58.15. So right now this could be an early opportunity here where every pullback could then become a buying opportunity as this thing continues higher. So short term, we're up above that 58.15 zone, and that could imply a bigger swing move, again, towards 6,000 and perhaps even beyond. So we'll have to continue to follow this, but 5,800, very important level here. Holding above that zone could lead to much more strength on a swing perspective. Any failure to hold 5,800 would be a significant rejection. As price approaches the bottom of that prior key range here, 58.50, if there's any rejection there, then we could be swinging the opposite way. But right now, 5,800 is the big time key level to watch. Bulls want to keep it bid for a continuation toward new highs. Looking at the intraday time frame right here, again, quite bullish here in overnight trading. This thing rallied, now pulling back and holding, so all pullbacks have been buying opportunities. You can see VWAP is sloping up, R3 sloping up. That's usually an indication to buy dips, buy pullbacks. So right now, any pullback, especially back toward VWAP or the LVN, could be a great buying opportunity for a continuation toward 58.50 and perhaps beyond. Lastly, looking at gold. Gold had a significant sell-off in overnight trading. You can see here, price got back to composite value, which is 12.59. And there it went offered significantly and took out stops below recent lows, just wiping them all out right into 12.40. We were looking heading into this day at what would happen around VPOC, and the expectation was perhaps if VPOC goes bid, we could be looking at a nice recovery back toward 12.77s. Instead, VPOC went offered, and now we've wiped it out a little bit. So again, this is what I mentioned before. Once price goes from rejecting this recent high back to value, trading around value can now be very difficult because the market will then want to chop above and below value, very similar to this before it finds direction. So now that we're about below this 12.59s and taking it offered twice, that's pretty significant here, but we're not outside the range just yet. We're still in the middle of this area. Makes for difficult trading behavior on a swing basis. So we're right in the middle of the chop. Overall, obviously trending downward for the day. So looking at an intraday time frame, been trending downward, and all pullbacks have been selling opportunities. So this was a significant sell-off here. Major bounce back up, set the range, and now we have basically a trading range here where bears are defending the upper edge near 12.50, bulls are defending the lower edge near 12.36, 12.38, and that's going to be the range to watch. So you can mark this impulse range here or this impulse range here, whichever one, and look to fade the edges with a downward bias until proven otherwise. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session and the new week of trading. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you soon.